Today we're at St Gregory's Church in Kirkdale, an Anglo-Saxon church with a lot of history, and is dedicated to St Gregory, who was Pope from 590 to 604. Major modifications were completed in the 15th century and the 1800s. It is in a beautiful, serene setting with these gorgeous, beautiful redwood trees. Above the doorway of the church is the ancient canonical sundial. It dates to the mid-11th century. The panel containing the actual sundial above the church doors is flanked by two panels bearing a rare inscription in Old English, the language of the Anglo-Saxons. The sundial was discovered during a renovation in 1771 and commemorates the rebuilding of the ruined church about the year 1055 by Orm, son of Gamal, whose Scandinavian name suggests that he may have been a descendant of the Vikings who overran and settled this region in the late 9th century. These translate to Orm, son of Gamal, bought St Gregory's Minster when it was all broken down and ruined, and he had it made it all anew from the ground, for Christ and St Gregory in the days of Edward the King and in the days of Tosti the Earl. The sundial itself is inscribed, "This is the day's sun marker at every tide," and at the bottom of the central panel is the line, "And Howard wrought me and brand priest." Often in these old churches you will find strange markings and engravings all around the church in the stonework. These can be just plain graffiti, ancient graffiti and apotropaic marks. Apotropaic marks were often engraved onto these ancient buildings to ward away evil and protect all the villagers and all of its occupants. There are also remnants of an Anglo-Saxon slab at the front of the door. Great detail is still preserved to this day. Here we have a medieval mass dial. These were used by priests to determine the correct time for religious services. On the outside of churches you may also notice apotropaic marks or stonemason marks, along with other graffiti. The main tower is absolutely magnificent, with beautiful Saxony features. On the outer walls of St Gregory's we can also see the remains of Anglo-Saxon and Viking crosses, thought to date back to at least 750, before the site was actually built. This reuse of stone is evident all throughout. It's magnificent how they have managed to save such beautiful snippets of history that predate this church. On the outside of this building we can also see the remains of a Viking cross. The intricate design is both beautiful and fascinating. Here we have two very worn mast stiles side by side on the south wall. We also have some evidence of some more recent graffiti, maybe not quite medieval, but still interesting nonetheless. People used to engrave their initials because they thought it would bring them protection. This is something that can be seen across lots of churches across England and even the world. Here we have another remnant of a cross in the wall, evidence of reusing material from older churches that used to sit here on this ancient land. The detail is just amazing. Inside St Gregory's is a beautiful, beautiful interior. It really is just stunning. The atmosphere is so peaceful. Honestly, it is just beautiful. Here on the front we have some apotropaic marks too, crosses and 4 squares. 2 ancient grave slabs were also found in this church. The sculpted stone can be dated to early 8th century, probably around 750. One relates to St Ked and the other to St Ethelwald. Such elaborately decorated coffin stones would only be reserved for the highest of people. I won't spoil all the details for you, which is why this church is an absolute must if you are ever in the area. The lighting on the camera really does not capture just how much detail has been preserved on these ancient slabs and crosses. It also houses a 15th century stone sculpture of the Virgin Mary and the Christ Child. The sculpture was discovered buried in the churchyard. Unfortunately, both figures have had their heads removed. This church really is in my top 5 all-time favourite places to go. It is absolutely beautiful, it is steeped in history, there is artefacts. What more could you want in an old church? The atmosphere is just beautiful, the location is serene, it is absolutely breathtaking. And just up the road, you've also got some ancient caves too if you want to explore those. I also have a mild obsession with the piscinas. They are beautiful, simple, and often very, very boring to look at, but I love them. And here I spotted a tiny little mouse. I wonder if that's a mouseman. I am not entirely sure. I will look that up, but it's a lovely detail. And this carving on the behind the altar is just sublime. It's a depiction, obviously, of Jesus, Mary, and Christ the day he was born, and the offerings of the gold, frankincense, and myrrh. It is beautiful. And to top it off, we spotted this beautiful barn owl. Unfortunately, not at its best moment, but fabulous nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!